Hi everybody, this is a demonstration on how to finish your tile. Here is a carved out bear tile. Take a piece of foam about the size of your thumbnail, wipe out the entire interior. So it's smooth, unless, say you wanted fur texture, then you're going to exaggerate the texture. Next thing you're going to do is make sure that there aren't anything called undercuts. So what's an undercut? Oh, I forgot about ribbing. Make sure you just rib over the tile. An undercut is as follows. Alright. Okay. I don't know how clear this is on the video, but if there's a little overhang of the edge of the clay, you can't have that, because when you go to make a stamp, like when you press this in clay, say the stamp has been used many times and it sticks. If there's no overhang there, then the stamp will eventually release itself when the clay shrinks. If there's an overhang and your stamp has been used many times by students, say maybe like at Arts in the Courtyard or something, the clay gets stuck, and then you go to release the clay from the stamp, but you can't, because some of the clay is caught underneath your stamp, and then the tile breaks. So, kind of hard concept to grasp. So you just want to make sure that all of your edges are at a right angle. Sometimes I use my thumbnail and just go around the edge. If your outline isn't exactly like your original animal copyright-free design, it's not the end of the world. You are just as good of an artist. In the end, just make it look cool. Does that make sense? You just have to be willing to share your whatever changes you make with the rest of the student body as they stamp stuff. Now, I'm not going to complete this whole thing, because I'm going to let the owner of the tile complete the whole thing. But the next thing that you want to do, and I'll just work on this line of the back right here, is go around and enter in any of the interior lines. That's really detailed stuff. So you want to make sure that the interior carving is done first, and then we're going to carve out these lines. You want to grab a tool that's wide enough to make a stamp, but that will give you like a nice line, like a small loop tool maybe. And I'm going to recreate this interior line by creating an additional carving about 1/16 of an inch. Just like that. You want it to be at least as wide as a loop tool. At least as wide as that. If you try to do these interior lines with a needle tool, the needle tool is too skinny and it won't work. And then the hard part is you just got to make sure that there's no undercuts on the edge of your tile. So you can always like re-sponge that or whatever, make sure it's smooth. Okay, you're going to do all of your interior lines, make sure there's no undercuts all over, do all your interior lines. And if you have this neat line work, why not make it your lines wider while they're wider and thicker where they're thicker? So this student could actually carve out this whole section right here, down to here, and then create depth in this carving. Another thing that this student could do, which would be really cool, is see how, like, I don't know how else to say it, but the tush is the closest thing to you. We're creating a negative. Why not make that part deeper, right? Vice versa. If the head you know, the head's the furthest away. If the head was closer to you, say the bear was facing the other direction and facing you, why not carve the head in deeper, right? That will give you that awesome illusion of depth. Now, if you've already carved in the whole thing super, super deep, you can't do it because you could carve through your tile. Definitely don't want to do that, okay? Once you do all of your interior lines, zebra stripes, whatever they might be, you're basically done with your tile and you're not going to cover it up. What you're going to do instead is take a look at your tile, the front, back, sides, and clean it up because your tile's ready for tomorrow night's firing. So this is what you're going to do. So you still have to, you have all day tomorrow to work on these, and what I decided is if they're not done, I could always put them in a different firing. It's not the end of the world, right? So take your fiddling knife, smooth the edges of your tile or your stamp. Just like this. That's it. We already ribbed the front. And the last step is underglaze. What you're going to do is use this underglaze in a little cup with an ultra-fine paintbrush and write all your information on the back of the tile. Try to make it right side up. Flip it upside down, and just like you're painting black paint on the tile, you're going to use underglaze, not black paint, underglaze. Underglaze is basically colored clay. So it's not going to stick to the shelf. It's great. It's going to identify your tile, your stamp, and who made it. So what you're going to do is you're not going to put your class period, because it, in the end when we're using these, that's not going to matter. Your full first and last name and the origin, whatever you wrote on the back of your paper, the origin of your design. And then that's it. It's a 50-point assignment. Okay?